About 10 years ago, questions started bubbling up in my mind. They were loose threads that I just couldn't cut off. They were loose threads that ultimately landed me on this stage today. As I started pulling some of the threads, engaging with the questions, it led to more questions. And as I kept pulling, it led to more questions and more questions and more questions, and I just kept pulling. The questions were relentless. They kept going deeper and deeper, and my shirt kept unraveling. We spent about 1 minute of that full hour sharing, here are the key takeaways. And then we just filled that entire hour with their questions. Now, I knew all of the stuff that was behind the scenes, but we let their comments and their questions guide it. And we had so many comments from the business leaders saying that was the best meeting of the year. That was so powerful, that was so effective. He actually answered the questions that we had, and we didn't have to sit there and check our phones the whole time because you weren't going on and on about how you aggregated your data. But in terms of our end customers, they just want to know, what are the insights that you had? What are the paradigm-shifting thoughts? What are the business decisions that are influenced by what you said? Our job is not to share everything that we discover, but to share what is relevant. Some of my greatest leadership moments are when you have somebody that had never even thought about the plight of Africa. And 6 months later, they're sitting with me in a mud hut among the poorest people in the world, where white people have never even been, talking about the issues of Rwanda. And that's transformation. And I see that, and I think those sorts of things are applicable to the corporate world. It might sound very different, but it's the same idea of how do you move people from, at one point, not even caring a workforce analytics exists, to the point where now they're saying, I'm on, let's go. How do we get there? How can you help me? I love saying, okay, what's the problem? There is no solution. Let's figure it out. And I have learned so much about leadership and about building things from scratch. And so the idea was, how do we understand where we're at? How do we understand the gaps of where we are and where we want to be in terms of organizational expertise? And then how do we move forward in that? And how do we fill those gaps? And how do we know that we're making progress?